Hey everyone! So, today is finishing up from last night's stream where we were doing the painting of a girl with a pearl earring. But first, I want to share something very cool with you guys. So, I'm going to put on my apron because I'm not wearing that yet. This is going to be a pretty relaxed stream because all we're doing to a certain extent is we're just going to be touching up and adding a few things. I want to come in here and add some yellow. I may try to fix the blue in her headpiece. Let's see, what else? Add the earring, obviously. The pearl earring is kind of important since that's in the title, right? Let's see. There's a couple places on her face that I want to touch up. And we're going to actually add some highlights, some even lighter colors in her face. So, all right. First things first, I have been at the Blacksmiths Guild meeting this morning. So I'm a little bit disheveled because we were outside and it's very hot around all of the forges. But what's particularly exciting is that I got to make tongs. So I made these. Getting metal hot, shaping it with a hammer. I made these. And you can't see it. I'm going to, maybe if I hold it under here, let's see. Oh, there we go. You can see. See this shape here? I actually made that shape on both sides. And what that does is it allows you to grab something, let's see, this way, or this way. Or, of course, you know, you can grab something flat, you know, that doesn't need the groove. So excited, y'all. Like, I made these. I made these. These hands made this. That's just very exciting to me. Yeah. So, anyway, I just had to show everyone. Okay. I don't think anybody's actually online yet. And I kind of would like to get started, but I also want to wait until there's some people online. This, unfortunately, is recording everything. So it's recording me talking whatever. I have nothing exciting. Today is Pi Day. It's 3/14. That's pretty exciting, you know. Go out and have a piece of pie, but of course it's pi like the number 3.14. I don't know more than that because I never had to. My nephew, I think, can tell you, I don't know, a certain number of digits, 7, 9 digits after that, or after the decimal or something. But yeah, so it's 3.14, so 3/14, Pi Day. I encourage you to go and celebrate. All right. Normally, I get a chance to start the stream by talking about my supplies. But of course, we went over the supplies yesterday, and this is a continuation of yesterday's stream. So what I will talk to you about is that I've got fresh water. You know, you want to go ahead and clean out whatever water you used yesterday. I've got my paints from last night, and you might think, well, acrylic dries, so how did you keep it fresh? Well, I wrapped it in plastic and put it in the freezer. I know that sounds weird, but the freezer will actually keep your paints fresh for quite a while. As long as it stays frozen, it'll stay fresh. So then you give them just a tiny bit of time to thaw. They only need about 5 minutes or so to thaw. And your paints are as good as they were the day before. Now, I'm probably going to go ahead and mix some matte medium in each of these, just because, yes, they were in the freezer, but let's see, I don't even know if I have enough paint for all of these to mix. But my big colors, this green that I'm never going to use, so I'm not even sure why I do that, but look at that, still liquid, still liquid. And all I'm doing, the matte medium just basically acts as a lubrication and is going to make it a little bit more liquidy, and it doesn't dry as fast. But you just need to make sure it's really, really well mixed. Okay, that still looks like pea soup. All right, so you're going to wipe that off and go to the next color. Let's see. I don't know if there was enough of this orange color, maybe a little bit. All of the matte medium should do is thin it a little bit, just like water would, except for it doesn't dry out like water, not as quickly anyway. So it allows your paint to stay liquid. Burnt sienna is the next color, and I think I used most of this, so there's probably not a whole lot of burnt sienna left. Yeah, not much. So this is going to be really liquidy. I don't even think I'm going to be able to get the color out of that, but we'll get some, and we can always make more burnt sienna if we have to. All I did was take a little bit of burnt umber and mix a little bit of red with the burnt umber. That's how we made that burnt sienna. Okay, this, I don't think there was any color left here, so this isn't going to do anything. I'm not even going to bother. The skin color, we did have enough of, and we're going to be continue using that, so get that mixed up. The skin color is what we'll be adding white to make the highlights for the face. Again, just a reminder, if you want to look at the reference photo, you can click on the Discord button on my channel, or you can put this link here at the bottom of my screen. You can put that into your browser and it will take you there. All right, we're working our way around. What we're doing right now is I've added, since my paints are from yesterday and I don't want them to dry out because they were starting to dry out last night towards the end of the stream. So I have added Liquitex Matte Medium, this stuff, which kind of waters everything down. So all I'm doing is going through right now and just mixing that matte medium in with my paints. This is a pretty boring part. You know, you're watching me mix paint. Only slightly less, more interesting than watching paint dry, I suppose. I don't think there was very much blue left. There wasn't, so I'm not going to mess with that one. We'll do our lip red, which I don't think we'll be using anymore, but just in case, we might. We could use a little bit of this to make our burnt sienna if we had to. Okay. Our Payne's Gray, which is this black color here. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of brown to this because if you remember, this was just a little more blue than I thought it should be. So I'm just going to add more brown, which will gray it up a little bit more. It'll take some of that blue out. This brown also has yellow in it. The brown that I use is burnt umber. Because Payne's Gray is kind of a bluish gray, but it's very dark, and when you thin it out, it should be a little bit brown. rather than gray. Or rather than blue. Okay. So we're getting there. We're almost there. We have really just one more color to mix because I don't think this blue was any good anymore. So the last color we're going to mix and if you're just joining, I'm going to show off my little creation from this morning. I went to the Blacksmith Guild meeting this morning. They got together and they fire a bunch of forges and they make things. And apparently, I did not know this was going to happen, but apparently they allow attendees to make things. So I got to make these tongs. So I'm going to hold these under here. I made these and I put that shape in there so that they can grab things. So the shape that you see inside of there, that cross shape, I made that. So that's why they look a little funky because, of course, this was my first time ever making something in a forge. But like, you know, I each one of these pieces, I'd stick in the fire and get it hot, and then I'd hammer it, and then I'd get it hot again, and then I'd hammer it, and I'd just keep doing that until I got these. Pretty cool. I'm very excited. Like, I made a tool. That's just the coolest thing to me. I'm pretty sure that I'm ready for zombie apocalypse now because I know how to forge tools. Which means I'm not that far away from forging weapons. Just saying, you know. Okay, so I've got my colors. Again, I wrapped them, put them in the freezer. That's why they're still usable. I got fresh water. I'm going to get a fresh paper towel. And we are going to begin fixing and finishing up our girl here. All right, first things first. I really want to fix the shape of her face, the outside. I'm going to use my smaller brush. I don't need to get it wet because, well, I guess I can get it wet just to get the air out of it. But it doesn't need to be wet because I just added the matte medium. So what I'm going to do, get a little bit of the paint on my brush. Okay, I noticed that the shape of her face, I'm going to turn this sideways, was a little bit more elongated. So let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to bring her chin in. And the shape of the face actually really makes a face, right? I mean, the eyes make the face, which is what we talked about on Tuesday. But the face shape also makes a huge difference. So what I'm doing is I'm cleaning up this line and making her face thinner. And I'm just going very carefully . So I'm not talking a whole lot because I really want to be careful that I don't make any mistakes. And I'm just bringing in that edge of her face. I'm bringing it in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to turn this and look at it and see. It still bulks out just a little bit too much. So I'm going to bring it in just a little bit farther and get a little more paint. So I'm just narrowing that line just a little bit and bringing the side of her cheek in. You want to go slowly, and you want to be careful not to get too much paint because you don't want to have a ridge there at the edge of the face. And I'm just drawing the brush along the side. So we're going to look. Close. It's very close. This touch-up part is kind of the nerve-wracking part because, you know, sometimes you're going over something. I happen to not be as keen on the way my girl ended up looking, so it's fine. But, you know, you may have spent a very long time. Get a little water on my brush. You may have spent a very long time on your painting, and you are trying to touch up something that you don't really want to mess up. Understandable. Because if you go just a little bit too far. So viewer, whoever you are, I don't know if you were on when I said Happy Pi Day, but Happy Pi Day. 314. All right, that's looking much better. It's much more delicate. And I don't know if you can tell because I don't have a picture of what it looked like before, but just narrowing that just a little bit really made a difference. And I'm gonna also come in by her eye. And let's see. I'm trying to be careful because this is the part I actually am not terribly upset about how her eyes turned out. So I'm trying to do this in such a way. But she does have this place. Let's see. Look at that. That made a difference. Okay. So now all I'm doing is just touching up those edges. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable with how that looks now. I like to bring my brush and just kind of make some so that you don't have that stark line there. I mean, it will dry and you won't really see it, but I like to just make some little strokes of the color that I just did right on the outside so that it blends it into the painting so you don't see that stark line around the edge. Okay. Now, the other thing I noticed is the white of her eye is actually longer than I made it. So I'm cleaning off my brush really well. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. And it's just this side. This side's fine. So what I'm going to do, turning it upside down. And I'm coming down just a little bit farther. Okay. So because of this, I'm going to have to bring down the dark part of her eye too. So let's make sure that this is the shape that I want it. I think it is. I think it looks good. now I'm going to bring in the dark part. So all I'm going to do for this is pick up the dark again and just come in very slightly. Right here in the corner of her eye. And remember, we had that kind of green color, which is basically a darker version of the puke green. So I'm just mixing in a little bit of my Payne's Gray, which is for darkening. That's what Payne's Gray is really good for. And I'm going to come in ever so slightly on the side here. Picking up a little black. I'm going to blend it. I remember we used some burnt sienna there. I'm not going to do that right now because I mostly... Alright, let's turn it back around and see what it looks like. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so this is starting to look more like the girl. Not super happy. I need, let's see. I want basically a kind of a watered down. Let's see. Hang on. I'm going to mix a little brown in this. So it takes some of that blue away because that blue is pretty harsh. There we go. So see, she's got in her eye that I just did, it's like, it looks like it's like jutting down. All I need to do is I'm going to take a little bit of watered down Payne's Gray and I'm going to come around the bottom of the eye, just very lightly. Nope, it still looks like it. I think maybe I didn't have enough on my brush. There we go. Nope, the camera's readjusting itself. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my skin color, mix a little bit of the Payne's Gray with it, so Payne's Gray, like I said, is for darkening, so we're just using it to darken up the skin color a little bit. It just grays it up a little. Okay, so we've got this darker color, and I'm going to come in under her eye, like where like kind of the bags of the eye would be, and do this comes down in like that carrot shape almost. Okay, So if you're just joining the stream, I'm just reminding everyone this is a continuation of last night's stream. We did not finish this particular painting. And so now what we're doing is finishing up. But welcome and happy Pi Day. Okay, I picked up a little bit of my burnt sienna. I'm just laying in some shadows here. And what we're doing is we're kind of fixing some things from last night before we move on and continue the rest of the painting. Because I made some mistakes in her face. It happens. It happens. I don't know if it's I got my proportions off or what, but just things weren't looking right to me. So now I'm bringing in burnt sienna, and then I'm mixing in a tiny bit of my watered down Payne's Gray. And for the watering down today, if you're just joining, I'm using Liquitex Matte Medium to quote unquote water it down. But what that does is it just helps make it more fluid so that so it moves around the canvas a little bit more. Helps blend everything better. Okay, so in the original painting, our girl has like hardly any eyebrows. So what we're doing now is coming in and giving the darkened area that indicates that there are kind of eyebrows there, but we just don't see them. Maybe they're very blonde or something like that. According to one of the people on the stream last night, one of the artists, that I guess this is a common thing for Vermeer. Like apparently Vermeer didn't do eyebrows on his ladies. So, okay. So, it's not as blended as it could be. The only way to blend is if I get in a little bit of the lighter color. Clean off your brush, dry it, and then you come feather the edges. And that will blend your colors. Okay. I know it seems like I'm working in this area a lot, but the eyes are kind of what make the painting look like the painting. You know, her eyes, that's what makes portraits work, is the eyes. So, okay. I'm going to stop messing with that one momentarily. Oops, sorry. Okay. Now, this eye, I started trying to fix it. And by fix, I mean, I started trying to lay in this color, but I didn't really have the correct Payne's Gray. So what I'm going to do now is this mixed color that we just mixed earlier. I'm going to come in over that. This is more accurate for the color. So what it was is my skin color with a little bit of the watered down Payne's Gray is more accurate of the color that's in her lid. I'm bringing in a little more of the Payne's Gray, but this Payne's Gray doesn't have as much blue in it because I actually corrected the color by adding burnt sienna. So I'm going to add just a touch of her skin color right here. And then I'm going to blend it. So remember, blending, you clean your brush, dry it, and then you come in and just work the edges. And as soon as you feel like you have too much paint on your brush, wipe it off and come in and continue working the edges. And that's how you blend. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen My Cousin Vinny. Great movie. Totally should check it out if you have not. But one of my favorite lines, Marissa Tomei is by far one of the best characters in that movie. And she has this one line where Joe Pesci's character is giving her crap because of the way she's dressed, because they're in this southern town and they're dressed like they're from New York and New Jersey or something like that, you know, leather or stuff like that. So they're in the 80s. You know, keep in mind, this was a different time. So apparently if you're from New York or New Jersey, you wear leather. I guess that's the thing. In New Jersey, maybe? Anyway. So he's giving her a hard time about wearing this stuff. But he's like, the only thing he's got is cowboy boots. Other than that, he's still wearing the leather and everything. So she's like, oh yeah, you blend. That's the whole line. I'm not delivering it because I'm not nearly as funny as Marissa Tomei is. But you should check out the movie. It's got a lot of really good one-liners. And it's a pretty good movie overall. Okay. That was my pitch. Okay, so I'm coming in. I'm going to do, she's got some shadow that comes up over here in the shape of her brow. Okay, so now I need to blend this. I'm going to bring in some skin color right here. Dry, well, rinse, dry, and then start blending. So if you start getting too much paint on your brush, you just come in, wipe it off with a paper towel, and that gives you a clean start. And this will blend our colors together. I may need to blend this again, this area right here. So spread it around, wipe, and then blend. Because really it's this area right here on the inside of the nose. You actually do have a light area there that is let's see, I'm gonna get some dark in there. I lost a little bit of it. It is a very watered down dark, but you do have like a little reflective area. Oh, I keep pulling my dark out of that. Okay. So I'm putting that lighter color down, but I'm going to come in and blend it. And this is just a way of mixing paint directly on the canvas. Now this is doing something funky. It's separating, the colors are separating, and I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. So I'm going to use, instead of the watered down Payne's Gray, I'm going to use the thicker Payne's Gray, because I think what's happening is the watered down Payne's Gray is moving into like these patchy areas. And I don't want that. Okay, so I've laid down my other color and now I'm going to blend. And I maybe even pick up just a tiny bit of the sienna. Throw that in there. Okay. This is looking better. I still have this weird ridge up here. But might be able to blend that even more with pretending like it's just the rest of her face. Okay. There we go. Now it's not as bad. I mean, it wasn't terrible before, but it didn't look great. There was something about it that is off. And there still is. There's still like this really thick line. Okay. There we go. I don't know why that was so difficult. So I'm mixing, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm mixing that Payne's Gray with my skin color to get that little bit of darker. And I'm going to come down the side. And her nose has like this area. So now we're going to actually start putting in things that weren't there before. It has this area below that actually has more of the Payne's Gray. It's her skin color, but it's a shadow. So I'm putting in the Payne's Gray where the shadow is, but I'm not cleaning my brush from the skin color. So it's going to blend a little bit. By the way, hope everybody's Saturday's going well so far. If anybody has any interesting, fun things they'd like to share, please feel free. When I shared my cool Blacksmith Guild story, you know, that was quite an interesting experience. I think I'm going to actually join the guild. So that's exciting. So now I'm coming in and blending this color that I did earlier and this darker Payne's Gray. And she actually has like this darker place right here, right above. It'd be right in this area, like between the lips. So all I'm doing is just letting it come down. Definitely going to be blending this color. It's funny because, you know, I'm looking at this and this is an acrylic version of the oil, but it really does look like oil, and oil has its own unique look. So it's kind of cool. And I'm wondering if maybe the person who painted this did use a little bit of the like a matte medium or something like I'm using. I wonder if they did, because they had to have done something. All right, I'm going to bring this up. This isn't quite the shape that it needs to be, so I'm kind of fixing the shape a little. And I'm going to blend. So what I did is I cleaned my brush, and I'm just going right along the edge of it. Get a little bit too much paint, wipe it off, and start anew. Blending. Blend, blend, blend. Okay. Now for this up here, I'm going to take a little bit of her skin color, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of the burnt sienna and make a darker color. This is going to be the tip of her nose. So it's a little round dot. So you have this, like, the bulb of your nose is actually like a bulb shape. Let's see, I need this to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to just pull in a little bit of my Payne's Gray. Okay. I'll wash off my brush real quick. So you've got the bulb of your nose, so that's kind of a round part. And then the bulb actually then kind of juts down and out. So it's going to come down like the side of the nose, curve out, and then go up. Let's see, and we'll have a little bit coming in here on this side. Okay. Come in here, some of this lighter color. All right, clean brush, and I'm just coming in here and blending. Get too much paint, dry it off, and come in and blend some more. So I'm blending right into the bulb brown part that we just did. And this stuff is drying a lot faster than I expected, considering I've added the matte medium. I'm kind of having trouble with words today, apparently. Okay. So we're layering a little bit. I'm bringing a little bit of this color up into the bulb shape, and I'm going to blend. So remember, if you are following along, I encourage you to I encourage you to take pictures and upload them to the Discord. All right. I was trying something. It did not work. It was not successful. So all I was trying to do is there's like, it looks like there's like a dimple or something on her nose. I can't tell exactly what it is. So I was like, I'm going to see how hard it would be to put that in there. Apparently much harder than I thought. So we're not doing that. Not doing that. Okay. Almost done with the nose part. I'm just feathering this in. And then I'm probably going to call it for this area. I do want, she's got like this where her ridge is. It's blended. So I'm picking up some of that where I had mixed the Payne's gray. Then mixing some of that brown in there, the kind of sienna mixture that we made. And the birds are really loud today. So I don't know where you guys are, but in Tallahassee, it's 87 degrees today, or at least it's supposed to get up to 87. And I just can't believe that in March, we're already at 87 degrees. It's just crazy to me. But here we are. So, guess it's not that crazy. All right. Chat's so quiet today. Okay, now I'm going to fill in using the skin color. I'm going to bring in this part of her eye. I'm going to need to mix a little bit more. Of that kind of grayish color that we did on the other side. So that was, oh, hair got in there. How'd you get in there, buddy? So I'm bringing in that color, the skin color, and then I'm going to mix in some Payne's gray with it. And that gives us the gray that we have over here. Okay. So we're going to bring that in over here. I'm going to bring in pure Payne's gray at the top. And then I'm going to blend. So I'm coming in at my edges. Brought in a little bit of my skin color just to get it to mix because it's not mixing. There we go. Okay. It's a little quiet today because well, you guys are quiet too, but I'm also concentrating very hard. I want to get this correct today. So I just dot in a little bit of color and then I come in and blend it. All right. Something else I notice. I'm going to fix this eye. She's got, I'm trying not to touch my nose because it should be mostly dry, but just in case, I'm going to bring this eye up just a little bit. All I'm doing is just changing the curve of the eye just slightly. There. Now what I'm going to have to do is fix the white, but I'm going to wait until it's dry before I do that. Okay, but now I've got the shape of the eyes a little bit better now. Okay, now let's see. Now we are going to bring in the face color, a little bit of the face color down here. And then a little bit of our dark color. And we're going to blend those. And we're going to be putting in highlights down here, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Face color, some of my burnt sienna color along the edge there, and I'm going to blend those together. So there's a lot of blending that makes the face happen, as you can see. Okay. There is just a little shadow right here. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay. Better. All right, now I should be able to put in the white up here to fix the eye. And all that's going to be, I'm going to come in, just very carefully add some white to the top of the eye. Getting a little bit of my Payne's gray because I just need to bring the iris over a little bit. And then I think, let's see, we'll pick up a little bit of our burnt sienna color, and I'm going to come in right here. Well, let's see, actually maybe a little bit of Payne's gray too. I'm going to come in right here. Just layer in a little bit of darkness at the edge of her eye. Because she's got that, I don't know if you guys remember when we were talking about, oh, what was that called? Lacrimal. It was a word that I really liked. Lacrimal carbuncle. Caruncle. That's what it was. Lacrimal caruncle. This little part in your eye, in the corner there, that little pillow-like area is the lacrimal caruncle. I knew I'd remember the word. That's what that is. It's a very... It protects your sweat glands. So I'm coming in and I'm just bringing in just slightly the corner of this eye here, her lacrimal caruncle. That is from Tuesday's class where we learned the parts of the eye. Okay. Ta-da. Okay, that paper towel is pretty good and toasted. By the way, if anybody else is joining, I just want to let you know I'm using the same paint colors from last night. What I did is I have plastic wrap. I wrapped them and put them in the freezer. And so if you do, it only takes about 5 minutes for them to thaw and to reuse, and you can reuse your paints like that. I did mix a little bit of matte medium in them to keep them from drying out while we're doing this. Okay. Let's see, there is just a little tiny bit, not much, but a little tiny bit of white on her tooth. So I'm just dotting this in. So now we're just kind of fixing up before I move on to the next section. So what I'm doing is I'm doing my little blending trick where I put the white down. And then blend the edges so it's not as stark of a line. She also has, it's shaped a little differently than I've got it. So I'm just going to fix the shape there. I'm not like even really a fan of the teeth in this, but I guess he did it in the original. I would not have done teeth personally. I think teeth are too hard. Okay. So let's see. What next? All right. Next, I want to go ahead and get the earring in here. So let's do this. We're going to mix a tiny bit of white into some Payne's gray. So I'm going to just mix it directly on the surface with the Payne's gray, like at the edge of that. And we are going to come down and do like an S shape, but it's like an elongated S. Like that. And then you've got this little kind of squiggle on the bottom. And it rounds out. Okay. I'm going to actually finish out the bottom here. And then I'm going to color this in. Not color it in, you know what I mean. Paint it in. Okay. Now I'm going to take straight up Payne's gray. This is a little bit of my watered down Payne's gray. And I'm going to come over this and darken it up a little bit. But that way I still have my edges. So it's just like a little bit of layering. Right. All right. So we've got that. And then we're going to do the white. So she's got some right here. Comes down the side just a little bit. I probably did this a little too close to her ear. That's okay. We are not Vermeer. I don't think anybody's going to confuse our artwork with Vermeer's. At least not mine. Maybe yours. Want to become famous? 5 followers. Well, thank you for the information. Always appreciated. All right, now what I'm going to do is come in. I'm dry brush. I wiped it off. And I'm going to blend the edges of everything that I just did. So blend the edges. If you get a little bit too much paint on your brush, wipe it and blend some more. Wipe and blend. I feel like I'm going to create some little catchphrases here. I've got blow, don't wipe for my drawing classes. Because you don't want eraser shavings all over your picture, but you don't want to smear it either, so I don't want you wiping it. You gotta blow like that. So that's one. And then I've got this dry and blend, or wipe and blend. And that didn't actually work out how I wanted it to. I'm painting over this white part with a little bit of that gray color. I just got a little bit outside, so I was just cleaning it up real quick. Okay, I'm coming in with some pure white in the more center. And now I'm going to blend this to that lighter color that we just did. Okay. Yeah, I think her earring was a little farther down, so I kind of went a little too high, but that's okay. You know. All right. So we've got the earring. I'm not super happy with the way everything blended here, but we have a better Payne's gray now. So let's go ahead and lay in the yellow of her, the color of her shirt. So this would be, let's see. Let's make, I'm going to actually take this color here, this orange that we made, and I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to it. Because this was like an ochre, but I'm going to mix a little bit more. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to have a nice mustard color, hopefully, is what I'm going for. We shall see. I might have to add a little bit of brown to it to get it to really be mustard. It's actually pretty close to mustard. I feel like it's close enough, you know. I mean, at this point. So we already have some brown here. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to wet my brush a little bit. I'm going to get some of this Payne's gray and bring it in and re-wet this area, okay? Because we're going to be blending. I love my blending. This is how you get things to look realistic, is by blending. So, coming in here. All right, now I'm going to take this mustard color and bring it in here, leaving a little bit of the black area. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush, dry, and then start working my edges. So right now I'm just kind of squiggling along the edge. Okay. Clean it again. And now I'm going to feather the edges. This is making a little bit of a green color, which means I don't have enough brown, but it's all right. At this point, I mostly just want to get these colors down. We've got to just keep moving, you know? Just keep on keeping on. I can bring a little bit of my burnt sienna up here. And I'm going to blend that with my yellow. Kind of pull that along here. Get a little bit of my black and come down to meet it. So that gives it a shadow look. going to bring a little bit of burnt sienna up in here. So I'm just bringing that into the black a little bit. And that will just fade the colors into each other. A little bit more. So there's not so much of that Payne's gray, stark Payne's gray, you know. I'm getting a little more yellow in there. There we go. Mostly because it just wasn't moving around like I wanted it to. Now last night I had a digital artist on here. I don't know if he's on today or she. I don't really know. But the digital art version of this, so I would imagine, I don't do like a ton of digital art, but from what little I do know, that you do have to kind of pay attention to color because you're blending in a different way. You know, you're blending with pixels really, which is very different. Okay, so I'm fine with this yellow. Here's what I'm going to do. So she's got a little bit of yellow on her cheek where it's reflecting. So I'm going to put some yellow on her cheek. And then I'm going to take my skin color. And really, I want to mix that with the brown. Because we need it to be a little bit darker. Because it's the shadow, it's underneath her chin. And we're going to blend this. So I'm blending it out a little bit. I'm going to pick up this darker color and blend it at the bottom and coming from the back. And then from the top, we have a little bit of our Payne's gray color. Okay. This is like way too much yellow. I'm mixing some skin color in with it because I want it to reflect this, but man, that was just like, it just needs to be blended more. So I'm blending on the canvas. She does have this reflective light down here. I don't know. I feel like I'm not mixing enough of this. I need to just like mix up a color of darker skin here. Okay. So now I want to work on her cheek color here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix this color because apparently I'm not making enough of it. So I'm going to just throw it right there. I'm going to pick up some of my Payne's gray and mix it together because I'm not getting And what I was just doing is there's like a little bit of oh, that might have had blue in it. Darn. Well, okay. Let's see. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of red. Because red plus green equals brown. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a nice darker skin color for the shadow part. That's actually not bad. All right, so where this color is going to be is right in here. Okay, I'm going to use my big brush, so I'm going to get it wet. Pick up some of this color and come in and layer it in here. And this is nice. This is the color I wish I would have just mixed last night instead of trying to mix on my canvas. Sometimes it's okay to mix on the canvas. Sometimes you need to just mix the color so that you have plenty of it. And I did not make the correct decision last night, but it happens. So now I can come in with the actual Payne's Gray. I need to get some down because remember, if we're going to mix, for blending purposes, I've got to actually have something on there. Bloody Wing, hello, welcome back. I was just talking about your digital painting. I was talking about paying attention to pixel color, like you have to pay attention to blending and like this very specific colors that you're blending. You know, so instead of, you know, me, I'm kind of just like mix a little of this, little of that. When you're doing a digital painting, you have to be a little bit more specific. Like you're looking at the exact color a lot of times. So, of course, you could probably explain that a lot better than I just did because I'm not a digital painter. I would love to be. I think digital painting is amazing. I've got a friend who is probably one of the best digital painters I've ever seen. Great job. Love the art style. Oh, okay. Thank you. I got a bot. That's exciting. You know, I felt like I wasn't even cool enough to rank getting a bot, so now I guess I am. I'm getting up there in cool points when I got a bot. All right, so what I'm doing now is this color that I made, I'm blending the two together. So what I did, if you're just joining, is I made this kind of grayish color by mixing skin color with my Payne's Gray, which had a little bit too much blue in it, so I pulled in a little bit of red. And that, because it made it green, basically, these two colors. So pulling in the red browned it up a little bit. Art's the best games. Well, yes. It is. I like games, but I like art more. So what I said is that last night I made the mistake of trying to mix my colors on the canvas rather than just going ahead and mixing it in the palette. And that's what I should have done. And I think that that's what caused a lot of my problems that I was having last night is I kept trying to mix my colors directly on the canvas, which sometimes is fine. I don't like that's, you know, I do that a lot, especially with oil paints. But acrylic is a little different, and sometimes it just isn't what is needed. And that last night was one of those times. So now I'm coming in. I do have, by the way, if you're just joining us, Bloody Wing, I explained to everybody I'm using the same palette as last night, and it's not dry because I wrapped it with plastic and put it in the freezer, and that will keep your acrylic paints good. So, and it just only takes about 5 minutes to thaw. So it's very handy to know, because sometimes you're working on something and you've got to put it away, but your acrylic paints, you don't want them to dry out. So just put them in the freezer and it will keep them from drying out. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing my blending thing where I have a clean brush, I blend a little bit, and then I wipe. Blend and wipe. And all you have to do is put the two colors you want to blend next to each other, and that will happen. All right, except my colors are drying out, so put the color in, put the other color in, and then blend. Okay, I'm drying off my brush, and I'm coming in and feathering the edges. I feel like my Payne's gray is not blending. Maybe I added some matte medium, and that should have helped it from drying out a little bit, but it might not have been enough. Okay, let's see. Especially beginner artists often use too saturated colors or don't know how mixing works digitally. Right. The color circle is based on light and not pigments. For example, if you mix blue and yellow, you'll get a light gray tone because it moves more to white light on the color circle. Well, that's interesting. That makes sense because, yeah, you're looking at like that, like when you have your palette, it's, well, so I'm used to looking at the spectrum where it's like that, it's like a square, you know, where you've got your saturated colors in the top right-hand corner, and it gets less saturated going all the way down to the bottom left, which, and then it also goes from white to black. But I know the circle you're talking about. It's like the kind of a color wheel. All right, so now I want to blend this color down here, but I already had let it dry. So I'm going to put a little bit of that gray color here. So I'm putting that gray color that I made. And then, let's see, I don't really have any of this color. I guess it was just a little bit of skin color mixed with the yellow. So we'll put that. Oh, good. That worked. I was guessing, y'all. I was guessing. All right. So now that I've got my two colors down, now I can come in and blend. I'm turning it upside down to blend because I really want to blend up into the color rather than down. So I'm feathering the edges. This might have been too light. Well, we'll see. If I can get close, I'm fine. We're accepting close today. Today is a close kind of day. There are times when I can be a real perfectionist when it comes to my art. But I have learned from Mary Poppins, nonetheless, that enough is as good as a feast. So we will accept that. So if I can get close enough today, we're fine. Okay. We're going to let that be. I'm going to let that simmer down. Okay, so now I need to fix the back of this collar area. This color here that I made for the skin actually might work. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to. It's not exact, but it's pretty close. Maybe I'll just pick up a little bit more Payne's Gray. Because really this is just a shadow of the white part of the collar. So we don't want it to be too dark. Let's see if we can pick up a little bit of white in that. There we go. Well, that's cooperating better with me today. I'm going to bring some white here along the edge. And then we'll blend just a little bit. I'm determined I'm going to get something to blend well. Gosh darn it. You well blend. If I have to make you. Forcing your painting to do what you want it to do. That always works. It rarely ever works. So, but we shall see. I'm just very lightly blending this edge. Mostly just to make it look not so harsh. So I think that's okay. All right, so what do we need to do next? I haven't decided if I'm going to fix the blue. I might just leave the blue. The collar's looking okay. The neck is meh. It's not great. Maybe we'll get a little bit of this blend skin color and blend it with some Payne's Gray. I did go in and fix, if you're joining a little bit late, I did go in and repaint the edge of the face because I feel like the edge was just a little bit disproportionate to the actual picture. I did that first. Okay. Get some actual skin color in here. Blend the edges. I wonder if maybe I'm just trying to blend too much. Like maybe if I just blend, because when I blended that collar edge, that worked out pretty well. But I wasn't trying to, I was just like very lightly blending it. Yeah. I'm over blending, guys. I think that was it. Let's see. Yeah, it was. And I think I had it where it was like poofed out just a little bit too much. It needed to be a little thinner. I think that helped. Okay. Let's look. I'm looking at her from a distance. Something is off. I don't know what it is, but I do want to put the highlights on her face. So what I'm going to do is mix. I'm going to mix a highlight color. We're going to learn from yesterday. I'm going to just mix it right here. I'm picking up white. And we're going to mix a highlight color. It's a little bit precarious because it's on the edge here. That's okay. That's a very nice highlight color. Oh, Bloody Wing, I don't know if you were on when were you on when I showed what I got to make today at the Blacksmith Guild meeting? I was very excited. Just in case you weren't, I'm going to show you again. This lovely tool here, including the ridges inside, if you can see those. I made this in a forge. I used a coal fire and I hammered it and I made this. So excited. I went to the meeting thinking I was just going to be able to watch and take pictures. And then they said, "You want to make some tongs?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I do." So I got to do it. Now I did end up needing a little bit of help. So I have a video. Someone took a video of me doing it. So I hammered, and then a guy who's way more experienced than I am hammered next. So it was like clank, 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 like that, you know. But it was cool. I mean, I got to hold everything, and I had a glove on, but you almost didn't need one. But I mean, I'm like literally holding this in the fire, like with my hand on the metal, holding it in the fire. It was pretty cool. Ha! It's very exhilarating. Fire is exhilarating and also very sweaty. So that was fun. But super cool. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to do? Oh, the highlight color. Thank you. I lost my track. Okay. So I'm picking up the highlight color, and I'm going to come in very specific parts. Like I've got right here on her nose. Man, I could probably even pick up even a little more white in that. Get a new paper towel here. Man, I am just going through paper towels like crazy. It's because of all this blending, you know. So right here. Yes. Well, that's what I said. I said, now that I know how to forge, I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse because I can make weapons. I feel like that's the next step, you know. Today, tongs. Tomorrow, I don't know, a sword, a battle axe, whatever. I can do it all now, right? Thanks. Yeah, my level of self-efficacy is pretty high. But I will say, I do want to go and do it again. I do want to go practice. So I'm going to probably be joining the guild. So, because they do this every month. And so then I get to go play with fire once a month. Who doesn't want to do that, you know? Okay, so I'm bringing some of this lighter color into her cheek very carefully so I don't lose any of my highlights, low lights rather. Okay. I'm going to use the paint on my brush, and then when there's hardly any left, I'm going to come in and do this area here. So what I'm doing is just very lightly feathering in some color. Okay. Just blending this just a little bit right there. And then we need to give her so it's the waterline is that little ridge on your bottom lid. So we need to paint in her waterline. And this is highlighted because it catches light. So I'm just ever so gently coming in. And this is really going to make her look more realistic. So I'll let that blend a little bit. And then right here in the corner, what was the corner called? Anybody remember? The lacrimal caruncle. That's that little pillowy area in the corner of your eye. The lacrimal caruncle. I just like the word caruncle. Like, this is a very well, like, I don't know what I was going to say, but it's a great sounding word, caruncle. And in fact, I'm going to put just a tiny bit of white in there. Lacrimal caruncle. I mean, who comes up with these words, you know? Like, I want to name body parts. Like, you know, I'm sure, is there anything that's not named yet? I don't know, probably. Ah, hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you. So, one of the blacksmithing guys is here on the stream. I was just showing off my tongs that I made. Showing everybody how exciting it is. Okay, so let's get some of the lighter color, our highlight color. We're going to bring up here into the forehead. And I do want it to blend a little bit. So there's a couple of options. I can do it lighter and do what I did down here, which is just as the paint is closer to the end, I can just start dry brushing it, which might be what I do because I haven't really been having a ton of success with my other blending technique, which normally works fine, but for whatever reason has not been working for this particular painting. And I'm not sure if it's just because I mix the colors rather than just using them straight out of the tube or what. I don't know. But something is making things not blend well. So maybe in this particular case, I'm just going to let the brush get more dry, like basically meaning that there's not any paint on it. And then I'm just going to like kind of lightly go into these other areas. All right. This is just that, the slightly darker skin color. Okay. So we've got highlight right here. Now she's got like some pink on her cheek, and I do want to get that in there. Man, she's got like some yellow too. Like, this girl has a lot of different colors in her skin. And that's what I was talking about is, you know, we have all these different colors in our skin. It is not, nobody's skin is one color, period. It's like so many different colors. Which is why, like I said, like I mentioned last night, I was talking about Rembrandt's work. You know, that's why Rembrandt's stuff looks so realistic, because he just had so many layers of different colors. I mean, blues and pinks and just everything. I mean, we just have so many different colors. Okay, so I need to mix. I'm going to mix. I'm just bringing in a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix it with my original skin color here to make kind of a pinkish color. And this is going to be our kind of cheek, our ruddy cheek color that we've got here. It's probably a little more brown than that though. Let's see, do I have anything that's more brown? Let's just mix some sienna in that. Add a little bit more brown to it. That's good. That's a good cheek color. Okay. All right, so this is right here on her cheek. So I'm going to bring this in. Then she's got two colors on either side. She's got this color that I mixed. And she's got skin color on the other side. Okay. So we're going to blend these. I am going to do my blending here. So you kind of blend and wipe. And we'll get this lighter color here and bring some of that in. We'll blend this down here a little bit. We're almost done, guys. This is so exciting. I wanted to be able to say this last night at about 8:30. And now I can say it. We're almost done. So I'm going to blend this side. Oops. I feel like that needs a little bit more. I just added a little bit of my skin color to that just to get it to move around a little bit more. Just a little bit. So I can blend these colors. I don't know what color I had going on down here. This was like a, I don't even know what it was, but, oh, I bet it was that color, that, where I mixed the burnt sienna and the skin color. I bet that's what it was. Well, it's this color now. So there you go. Because I needed something to blend with the pink at the bottom. I'm trying not to do it again like I did last night, where I just start blending things on canvas just because I want to finish. We won't do that again. I'm in the home stretch. I don't need to ruin it now. All right. I'm adding a little bit of skin color to this just to kind of even it out. There's something with this gray that's not, I think it's just getting a little too dry. I think this has been the story of this painting, is that my paints are drying out. This is a good way of telling us that maybe, just maybe, this is meant to be an oil painting. It's possible. Clearly it's possible to do it in acrylic. Maybe not very easy to do in acrylic. You know? Okay. So we're blending everything. This may have to be the way that it is. She's got like this dark area down here. Which I kind of already blended that, but at least this time I have like my halfway color, and I'm not trying to like mix all of the colors. Okay, so let me see. I'm looking at the painting on the image that you guys are seeing, so that way I get like a little bit more distance to it, removing myself from it. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, the pink probably goes a little bit too high, like it probably should come down just a little bit more. But I think this is okay. So we'll do this. And then we'll do this to cover up that I think I did it a little bit too far. And then we'll bring that paler color in and blend here, which comes down her face. All right, where else do we have this color, this lighter pale color? Where else do we have that? Let's see. We've got it down here on the chin. We've got it right here in the upper lip. I'm just going to come in here. Oh, we need to do her waterline on the other eye. We did this eye. We didn't do this one. So I'm going to not stick my finger directly where I just painted. very carefully paint in the water line. And since it's lighter on my brush, I can blend it a little bit more over here because I don't want it to be quite as bright. There we go. And I'm just feathering, very lightly feathering the edge so it's not quite so stark of a line. There we go. Nice. Okay. So where else did we say? Okay, so her chin. We've got the light coming in. Right under her mouth, so it's framing her lips. And I'm just doing little strokes coming this way towards the dark part of her chin. Okay. Really, this whole side of her face, honestly, is light. But this is our opportunity to kind of clean up anything. Once everything's dry, if our lines did anything funky, I was just cleaning up. I accidentally went into my red a little bit. Let's see. So I'm coming up underneath the nose. And I'm looking at the shape that it makes. And it comes down. So I'm doing those lines down. I'm going to add just a little bit of white right in here. She's got, just like on her nose, there's actually some down here too. Where it's just very, she's just very pale. Our girl is just really pale. Uh-oh. I'm losing the bulb of my nose. I need to just get that back real quick. Okay. Let's see. So I got the white in there, and that's blended. I'm going to blend it down here. I'm going to put a little bit of white right here on her cheek. Just because she's got some areas that are just like really, really bright. And I accidentally went into the black just a little bit. Clean that up. Okay. I think I'm still coming out too far on that, and I can fix that in just a second, but let's see, where else does she have here? She has just a little bit down the center here, not too much. I love how this painting turned out to be a 5-hour painting, which is more akin to some of my oil paintings, honestly. I mean, my oil paintings, though, can go like 15 hours. Like, oil paintings can take me a really long time. Just because you're doing so much blending and stuff. But I will show you. I promised last time, and I completely forgot that I have my Picasso master. I will show you. Okay. So anywhere else, she does have, well, okay, hold on. Let me get some of this lighter color here in her nose. And her nose just really blends with the, I don't know, it's hard because it like blends with her cheek. So, okay. So I've got that. I'm going to leave that. I like that the way it is. But I am going to put a little bit of white right here. Right where the light catches the bridge of her nose. Okay. Pretty good. Let's see. Anywhere else? Just make that a little bit more white. Same thing. I'm going to actually make these areas. Oops. I just went a little bit too big. Just need to take some of that out. Okay. And let's see, anywhere else? Just lightly touching here. If anybody sees anything I'm missing, please holler out. That if like there's some large area that I missed or something. Just filling that in a little bit. I don't think so. This maybe should come up here. Especially the artists in the audience. If you guys see any glaring anything that I'm just like clearly overlooking, you know, call my attention to it. Because I ended up kind of going out of order from the lesson plan. Clearly. All right. Let's get a little more white in there. I think that's it, though. I think we got it. I've decided I'm not going to do the blue. I'm not going to change the blue. I'm just going to leave it. Let's fix the side of the face, which I know I tried to fix earlier, but apparently was not successful completely. So all I'm going to do is come in here and very gently make her cheek a little less poofed out. It's pretty close. I think that's pretty close. So now I'm going to do what I did before, which is just to kind of sketch my brush out a little bit so that you don't see that dark black line. Oh, I do know one more place. Hold on. Her chin, maybe. think the angle of her chin is just ever so slightly. It's like just a tiny bit squared. Okay. Looking at the painting, it's okay. It doesn't look exactly like the girl in the picture, but it looks a heck of a lot better than it did last night. I think just bringing in the face really helped. And I probably could bring it in a little bit more. I feel like she does have like this kind of, there's something like where the slant is just slightly different. And there's not, I don't know if there's really a whole lot I can do about it, honestly, at this point. I mean, maybe. But I've put in highlights and everything, so it's hard to paint over your highlights. Because you don't want to have to lay those in again. Yeah, that's all right. I did okay. The main thing is we wanted to get this area of light underneath here that's like a reflected light. I could probably continue to work on that and tone it down a little bit. You can always water down a color like a Payne's Gray or something and do a layer of that over, or even a burnt umber, you know, just really water it down. No, I don't want to mess with it. I really don't. Because if I mess with it, I feel like I'm just going to keep working at it forever. Honestly, I'm going to call it a success. I think it's pretty good. I'm looking back and forth between the original and her eyes are like a little less slanted, so that cerebral slant, it should be up a little bit more on the right hand side. That would probably make it look a little bit more like her, because the girl in the picture is she looks young. This woman here looks older to me. So, you know. Well, all right. I'm calling it. I think that this is pretty good. If I was going to continue working on it, like I said, I'd probably work on this area right here just to make it just a little less stark. Maybe I'd come in and do the blue and make that a cooler blue. Cool blue. The more aloof and more interesting cousin of warm blue. However, what I do think's working is I think I finally, I mean, I could do a little bit more blending and maybe lighten the color at the edges, but I think I finally got this area here. Like, pretty, it's not super well blended, but it's good. It's better than it was. Oh, I need to work on this area here. I'll probably do that off stream. I'm not going to bother with working on it right now because we're already at 2 hours. But I did want to show you my Picasso piece. So remember that blue period was the he did a lot of they're like that one girl that she's like at a table or something like that. He did a lot of, it was very sad. There were a lot of the images were all of like people who were sad or crying or things like that. So remember, this is a self-portrait. I was trying to do a whole Frederick Leighton fabric thing, and it ended up not being that. So, okay. So this is, I don't know if you can tell, this is me, and it's very blue. Let's see if I can get any closer. But you can see where I was going for the whole fabric thing, and if you look at Frederick Leighton, you can see where I was inspired by him. But Picasso also did some fabric stuff too, you know, especially during his blue period. Picasso was an excellent drawer. There's sketches from when he was like 13, 14 years old where it was almost like photographs of, you know, whatever it was he was drawing. He's very good. So he's known for like the weird Cubist style, but he actually was quite good at realism. But you can see I look very melancholy. I've got my RBF going, you know. So today was a lot of show and tell. This is like a lot more show and tell than I normally do. Yeah. But you guys got to see my awesome tongs, showing them again just because they're awesome. And, you know, my painting. And, of course, our painting. So, did anybody, Bloody Wing, did you by any chance, thank you, Barilla, did anybody by any chance do the painting with me? Or Bloody Wing, did you go in and work any more on the piece that you did? I don't know. I'm looking. You didn't upload anything else. So I don't think you really had to, though. I mean, you even signed it. So usually, oh man, I'm glad I said that because I almost forgot. Got my paint pen. I need to sign this, you know? All right, so this is the kind of paint pen that you push down to like get started. There you go. My signature. You haven't touched it since. Okay, well, I didn't figure that you had. It was pretty late. But I appreciate that you posted that. I'm going to just show it again. I know there are some new people on the stream, so I'm just going to bring that on. All right. So this is my Discord channel. We have the lovely, this is the original, but with a really cute kitty. This is the one that I was going off of. So if you want, just real quick, I'm going to flip back. Hold on. So that's the one we were going off of. This is mine. So it's not terribly different, but you can see that it's different. I think if I'm looking at it, I feel like the mouth is like slightly elongated. In the original, mine is not. Mine's a little bit closer together. Mouths are hard. Mouths are very hard. So anyway, but let's take another look at Bloody Wings. So this is a digital painting, which I really wish I knew how to do. I mean, I've dabbled in digital painting, but I'm not great. And this is fantastic. So he gave her some eyebrows. I say he, I'm sorry. I don't actually know, he or she, sorry. But eyebrows and let's see, what else did you do differently? Think you put a little bit. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, I can't open the original because it won't show up for you guys. Yeah, this is really great. I know you added a little bit of red in that lacrimal caruncle, which is, I just like saying that word, but the area in the corner of the eye. And I think her lips aren't quite as red as in the original. So this, to me, looks probably more like a realistic girl, like someone you might see out on the street now, versus, you know, the original. Like, she looks Dutch, and, you know, I don't remember exactly when, what century Vermeer was in, but, you know, that olden times, you know, she looks like that, you know, to me, whereas yours looks a little bit more modern. So nice work. And you got something here, some champagne glass. So there you go. You got a toast. So, all right. Great job. Like I said, off stream, I can see all these little water drips that I didn't catch. So I'm going to have to clean those up too. But luckily, since it's water, I can just clean it up with water. But I'm going to do a couple of things off stream probably before I post anything finished. Just clean up this stuff. But I'm not going to make you guys watch me toil over blending because I could be doing it for a very long time. Okay, so just to reiterate, next Tuesday, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, but next Tuesday, which is St. Patrick's Day, I will be doing a pot of shamrocks. It's a painting. Normally I do drawing on Tuesdays, but I'm actually going to do a painting because I want to do a St. Patrick's Day themed thing, and I don't have any St. Patrick's Day themed drawings. And so I'm going to switch it up, and next Friday will be my drawing. So, happy Pie Day again, 3/14. So go have a piece of pie and think about math and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you again, everybody, for joining my stream, and have a great one.